Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before we start this evening, I'd just like to announce that this meeting is being recorded for publication on Thatcham Town Council YouTube channel. Thank you very much. First item on the agenda is apologies for absence.
Thank you, Chairman. Apologies received from councillors John Boyd, Jeremy Cottam, Owen Jeffrey, Simon Pike and Ben Schiffer-Hart, and Councillor Val Watts appointed as substitute for Councillor Boyd.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 2, is there any declarations of interest on a subject before us this evening? None being indicated. We shall move on to item number 3. Is there any points of accuracy in the minutes that we're not aware of? And if members are happy, I will sign these. Is there any points?
Okay, Chairman, I'm happy to second.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much. I'll second that one.
Need a vote on it.
And all those in favour, please. Thank you very much. None against. Now, just to remind me, whereabouts do I sign these?
So initials in bottom corner.
Yeah. Each page? Oh, then back. Yeah. 21.
Each of the loose
Yeah,
pages,
thank
please.
you. Thank you for your forbearance. Matters arising from the previous meeting to the clerk.
Nothing from me, Chairman.
Oh, wow, this is really going to be a quick meeting, isn't it? Excellent. Moving swiftly on to item number 5. That is income and expenditure, and it's to receive and note.
So, Chairman, I'll just highlight as I go through some variances with the budget. So where we are at this point in the financial year, it's around about the 33% we're looking at. So first thing to highlight is Birdwood income is ahead of budget, 47.5%. So that's a good sign. But moving down, you can see that the gas is at 53%. So obviously the rise in gas prices has had an effect there, but we'll do what we can to be as efficient as possible on that one, but we'll keep an eye on it.
And just answer the question. Is that because the budget allocated figure on that hasn't been adjusted because of the new tariff rates?
So the budget,
or rather than increase in use?
Yeah, it would have been set sort of end of last year.
Okay.
And I think increases have probably come through after that. So
okay, so that's an increase in tariffs, which means the budget will get. That's perfect. Thank you.
Also, Frank Hutchins is on target for income. So again, good sign there. But water is at 68%. We did have a leak that was identified, but that has now been fixed. So hopefully we could be able to control that with not too much more impact.
I just have you go further down on Frank to say 4017 health and safety.
Yes, so that is the defibrillator that's at the hall. It needed new pads and a new battery, which has taken that one.
It'd not be better to put that into a planned maintenance or reactive maintenance budget line. If we've got a piece of kit, we should be maintaining it.
Absolutely. Indeed, that's part of
they've got budgets available.
Indeed, that's part of the town council's ongoing new strategy of having a replacement and maintenance budget and a programme which will be zipping in over the next coming months for the next budget cycle.
Yeah, we've
absolutely.
already got 4836 and 4842 as budget lines.
Yeah.
We can shift it and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, we can do that, absolutely. Moving down to the workshop service contracts is higher than budgeted. This is because of the new fire alarm that was installed, resulting from the fire risk assessment.
So salary allocation over or where it is in the year.
Yes, I need to have a chat with the finance manager because about the salary allocations as to that it's just something I need to clarify with her at some point. The Moors Pavilion vandalism, that was actually offset by an insurance claim, but the insurance money came in last financial year, but unfortunately the expenditure was this financial year, but we have had the income from insurance on that one. Cemetery, moving down to, and you can.
Sorry, just on.
Sorry.
On 212 head, we've got contribution spend 20%. That's the billing profile, isn't it? Of how it comes out. They won't be that much anyway, but that's the confusion.
That's right, it's reconciled at year end. Yeah, that's something else that actually the leader and I are going to be talking to the finance manager about as well, the HENIC budget.
No problem.
And moving down to cemetery, you can see the income lines are ahead of budget there as well. And water is quite high at the moment, but we are quite confident that that will balance out. The water at the cemetery is mostly used for the floral tributes, and less demand for that water as the seasons move on. So hopefully that will balance out towards year end.
So given the wet summer we had, you would have expected it to be down on normal summer trend. Yes.
Yeah. And moving on through to play areas. Inspection contract, you can see that it's just short of 129%. When the budget was set, it was planned that there would be reduction to half of our inspections because we had the maintenance officer. But unfortunately, we had a period of time between maintenance officers, which meant that we had to continue with the inspections being carried out by halves, which is why that actually the 129% does take into account the full year's costs because the purchase order has been raised. So that shouldn't increase from that 129%. And that was all I had, Chairman, to highlight. Happy to answer any questions that there might be.
Do the members have any questions? There was a point raised at F&GP, and indeed, I think Ian raised it at the last recreation amenities about the total budget for vandalism. And while it's spread across the appropriate headings here, you do tend to lose track of what our actual budget for something like that actually is as a central pot. Could we sort of have that information so we can keep an eye on it? It's more of a to note because obviously they will wax and wane in the winter. There may be less violence because vandalism because of seasonal issues,
Yeah.
but it's just more a case of so we can try and keep a track of that. Well, difficult to predict, we still should keep an eye.
I wonder if it'd be useful just to have almost like a separate vandalism report, with just a one-liner of what it is and then the cost versus, you know, total allocated budget across the cost benefit. Then we see the pilot as well, whether we need to engage the police or if it's vandalised for acts of violence.
Absolutely, because we are insured for some of the vandalism, I believe, but we choose not to claim for other reasons. But it's more a case of to note, just so we can. In the new council, thank you very much. There's any other points, any other members who would like to raise on that one? Okay, well, fantastic. Now we receive it and note, which means we don't have to vote. We'll just to note that one, members, right?
It does need a vote.
It does need a vote. Okay, then we shall. All those, first of all, need proposer and seconder, shall we? Proposer, seconder, and all those in favour? There's no one against. Thank you very much. Moving on to the latest update on the dog exercising area. Perhaps you could just update members on what the latest issue is.
I don't know officially what the latest situation is beyond my report, so Councillor Dillon might like to.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Dillon.
So, and this is only second hand myself, so maybe third hand. So, I understand Councillor Cottingham, members of the Flood Forum and some engineers met on site to look at the access route for the works. And that's proposed to change, but also there now is the possibility that the dog exercise can stay on the Memorial site. So what my recommendation to the committee would be is that we wait for the final detailed plan from West Berkshire engineers and what available land is before we commit to creating one in somewhere else. The benefits of the one at the Memorial is that it's well known and well established now, and people do travel in, and the parking arrangements are good. Everybody on the board is looking at parking as a main driver for it. So I think maybe hold that recommendation in abeyance until we get confirmation from West Berks.
Absolutely, it seems perfectly reasonable. When the report was written, that wasn't available, and things may change again. So if members are happy, we'll refer this to. Now, there is a timing issue with members' permission. If we haven't got time to fit another recreation amenities thing, that we actually throw it into the full council meeting, because there'll be times when we've got to set it out, agree to do it, then get the timeline in for it being put in place for the April of next year. So, and I actually think that we're talking about shutting it in January. So
the other way, Chairman, is the report quite clearly goes through the available sites in the town and has an assessment against them and a recommendation. You could pass that recommendation subject to final design coming from West Berkshire Council, so that this committee has chosen then its preferred recommendation and preferred site if that site isn't achievable.
That's very helpful. We may actually come up with a slight variation of your suggestion there. It has been suggested that if it does have to be moved, that before the dog site is actually located, that we engage with the dog walking community to say to them, look, these are 3 options or 4 options, whichever they are, that we actually engage with them rather than impose something.
Yes. In that case, Chairman, I would definitely recommend adjourn the decision until you've got the answer from the start. Because you don't want to go and consult with residents and then not deliver on any of the options.
So if members are happy with that, then that would be a proposer, seconder. All those in favour of that action? Thank you very much. Then, because it was felt that it was good to engage with the users of that service. Okay. So we've received the report, we've voted on that one, we'll move, is there any other points in that subject? No, okay, we shall move on to item number 7. To receive and adopt the minutes of environmental working party. Item A.
Like me to move that, Chairman?
Yes, please.
Both.
Seconder. All those in favour of accepting the report? Excellent. And there is a request that the membership from Cllr Steevenson.
Proposed, Chair.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay, and all those in favour? Well done. Wow, well, walking through this rather nicely. Okay. Moving on to item number 8.
But there's no report for this one, Chairman. It's just another a couple of working party appointments. Councillor Justin Pemberton and Councillor Cllr Steevenson have expressed interest in filling 2 of the 3 vacancies on the youth working party.
Excellent. I can have a. See what happens when you're in control, eh? The power. All those in favour? No one against? That's accepted. Okay, and moving on.
Chairman, they've all 2 excellent additions though. Councillor Pemberton has got excellent knowledge of youth services in West Berkshire, and Councillor Stevenson has been a member of youth uniformed youth services for a number of years. So they'd be good additions to the.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and that point is noted. Item number 9. Is there any points we have to
This is
consider?
approval of the payments that are due, Chairman. If there's any questions or queries, I'm happy to answer them.
And just remember to clarify for new members, this is where whatever is going through the system on that particular month or cycle comes to the nearest committee so that we can maintain our 30-day payment policy as a good contract employer, payee, whichever terminology we'd like to apply to that. Is there any points we need to know about that?
No, Chairman, I have added a little bit of annotation to the report that's on the screen here, just to give a little bit more detail. I'm working with the finance officer to include this sort of detail in the invoice descriptions going forward. So
yeah, we don't want to create extra work for people, but sometimes you do scratch your head and you go, okay. But I suppose some of that will come with more experienced members, and hopefully the new members start to understand a lot of that kind of stuff as well. Excellent. Well, and those notes will be on the minutes of the when this goes to.
This will be the appendix of these minutes. Yes, that's right.
That's fantastic. Okay, so all those, first of all, proposal, seconder, all those in favour? Thank you very much.
Yeah, close up question on that, happy with the payments that need to be made, but there's a couple of them which are they available for insurance claims? You got to replace the breaking stringer there with bags. And there was one earlier on, the other is a damaged gate at Pound Lane Park, on the payment run as well.
I believe they're both maintenance rather than vandalism. Right.
That's better in a way.
Yeah, because the hinge had gone on the one at Pound Lane, so and stuff like that. So
yeah, just say damage.
Yeah. Okay. there any other points at that point? Okay, we'll move on to item number 10. And just to help me, as relatively new to this, have the reports been circulated from members?
I haven't received any, Chairman, from anybody who isn't here, I'm afraid.
Mr. Chairman, Henning hasn't sat yet. There is a meeting booked in for the end of September.
Yeah.
I know the Greenland one has. But as time's not here.
So hopefully we'll have reports back for at least the full council at some point, one would think. Okay. So
Sorry, James, if you want to, apologies, I normally do my reports verbally, so apologies if.
absolutely, no.
I'm looking for written ones, I'm more than happy to do written ones in the future. Apologies also, I haven't been able to check with the chairman of the Memorial Foundation what the current situation is with the flood alleviation works, but that's clearly the one thing that is going to be the major impact with the previous route. So I'm delighted to hear that the possibility of that route may, or an alternative route may be found. Other than that, I think it's pretty much business as usual for the nation.
Yeah, thank you very much for your verbal report.
Then, Chairman, I'm not a member on these, but I know I have some information on some of them, but I've just got a suggestion in relation to the Cllr Leisure Centre. We now use the Joint Advisory Committee rather than a decision-making body.
Yeah.
The contract for West Berkshire Council has now changed to everyone's active. And it might be that this committee asks for a presentation of what their plans are for Cllr Leisure Centre and how do they propose to increase engagement with physical activity in Thatcham in particular.
Thank you for clarifying that. Are you suggesting that we as the clerk writes?
Yeah, if the clerk
On behalf of the committee and say, okay,
yeah.
All right. Thank you for
It's
that.
April at West Berks.
April.
So PV. I'll email you her name,
Okay.
and then she can liaise with the contractors, and then come in and give a presentation.
That would be good. Would that be before Christmas? Are you thinking,
sure
or
they'd
it's
have
relatively quickly?
Yeah, I'm sure they'd have to come in. With
Bearing in mind it's such a large facility within the area, would that work better at a full council? Because then all members could at least be kept up to speed rather than, I mean, clearly it's a recreation amenity issue, but it is broader in that.
I think it's most prevalent, it might be worthwhile.
Absolutely. Yeah, okay, we'll work out the details of where it's presented, but thank you, that's a very good suggestion. Clark's noted that. Okay. Thank you very much. There's no other issues raised on this particular one. We now have to move to the exclusion of public and press. Sorry.
I did forewarn the interested. As Councillor Cole said, I just go at the same time.
No, it's just the
It's not the
transcript. Is this the one you have to declare? You have to read it out loud and state it, just to clarify for me. That in view of the confidential nature of the business to be transacted, it is advisable in the public interest that the present public be temporarily excluded and that they are instructed to withdraw.
So,
And
that's Chairman. Let me
Opposed, second, all those in favour? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And our apologies. Our apologies for having to preclude the only member of public here, but still.